Look, I'm not an anti-woman channel. I leave that to my boy Atreus, but you women are getting a little bit out of line. I'm surprised you don't have your own game show at this point where you take two dudes who are not very financially well off and pit them against each other to fight for your attention and call it Brokemon. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and today we're going to be talking about something new that women have concocted, how Barbie is now the litmus test for dating. Barbie is becoming a new litmus test for dating men. It's like the new question on a first date or your dating profile. What are your thoughts on the Barbie movie? Said one TikTok user who posted about her boyfriend's reaction to the film. And that, my boys and girls, is how you know this is going to be a wealth of knowledge, a fountain of wisdom, because it comes from a TikTok user. The modern day philosophers. Back in the day, we had Plato. Now we have fat women with pixie haircuts called Play-Doh, and they are the ones giving us everything we need to know about how the world works. Women around the world are taking their boyfriends to see Barbie in hope of answering one fundamental question. Is he enough? Now I'm going to stop right here and let you guys know, as I said before, I've not seen Barbie. I do want to, but it's not super high on my list as of right now. There's just a lot of things in theaters. There's a lot of things going on in the real world and in nerd culture. But overall, I do actually find the idea of going to see Barbie very interesting, and I'm very open to seeing it. Now that I've gotten that disclaimer out of the way, ladies, am I enough? Across social media, many women have been encouraging one another to use the movie as a litmus test to gauge whether their male dates can understand or at least receptive to its feminist messaging. So here's the dealio. There's been a lot of controversy around the way the media is handling Barbie, whether it's a feminist movie, whether it's sort of making fun of both sides, and I've seen some great arguments on both sides of the aisle. But leave it to NBC News to bring up how women need to use it as a litmus test for whether or not it's feminist enough for your boyfriend or your significant other or what have you, and whether or not they are feminist enough to be dating you, because you need to have somebody who's willing to just be the baseline protector of your feminist desires, or better yet, stay completely out of them and just worship at the ground you walk on purely because you don't got a dick swinging between your legs. That's how this is coming off, at least. Nicole Hofler, oh, would you guys imagine that? A TikToker with the last name Ho in it, a 32-year-old woman from Cologne, Germany. I wish Elon Musk lived there. Imagine someone with the last name Musk living in the town of Cologne. Says she calls it the Barbie test. It's like the new question on the first date, your dating profile. What are your thoughts on the Barbie movie? She said, because if a guy really doesn't want to see it, or he's not open to talking about it, or what's even worse yet, if he's seen it and he thinks it's not a good movie or he doesn't get the point, I think it's kind of a no-go. Imagine your entire life, because dating should be to marry and marriage should be for life. Imagine basing and hinging your entire life on whether or not someone did or did not like a movie. I mean, there are things in the Barbie movie that might be bad aside from the messaging if you do or don't like feminist messaging. Like, what if the acting is bad? What if the score is bad? What if the cinematography is bad? Now, granted, Greta Gerwig is actually a very good filmmaker, so I doubt any of this is bad. I'm just saying that people have opinions on movies that 9 times out of 10 don't matter politically. Like, you're not going to see me sitting here as a hardcore libertarian down the middle type of individual throwing a fit about the politics of Star Wars and how they work in modern day, at least the classic Star Wars. You will find me throwing a fit about that when it comes to modern Star Wars, but that's for an entirely different reason. The point is, imagine hinging your entire possible future on whether or not someone didn't like the Barbie movie. That is psychotic. And yet somehow these women don't see a problem with modern feminism. Barbie is the least of the world's worries when it comes to modern feminism, guys. To her pleasant surprise, her boyfriend passed with flying colors. Hofler, who shared her boyfriend's reaction to the film on TikTok, said she originally planned to glam up in a pink dress and enjoy the movie alone because she didn't expect him to be interested in Barbie, until he asked to join her, digging up a baby pink shirt to match her outfit. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Actually, I want more guys to be open to going and seeing Barbie with their ladies, and I hope more guys are open and seeing it with their ladies, because, let's be honest, if you're going to want to take her to see the new Star Wars or James Bond or whatever, you should probably reciprocate and go see Barbie with her. If you're going to drag her to Oppenheimer, which hopefully she's also interested in because that movie is a banger, then maybe also go see Barbie with her. So I do think that men should be going with their significant others to see Barbie because, oh well, sometimes you do things that you might not necessarily want to do to make your significant other happy, and I think that's very important in a relationship, but your boy here ain't exactly a relationship guru. My point is, guys, don't be assholes and say no to going to Barbie just because it's a chick thing. She and several other women who spoke with NBC News said that watching Barbie felt like seeing their everyday experiences showcased on the big screen. Alright, no, hold up. Didn't you feminists spend the last 20 years talking about how Barbie set unrealistic beauty standards and you've been trying to get them banned and say how harmful they are for women? You don't get to then turn around and say that the Barbie movie felt like seeing your everyday experiences showcased on the big screen. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too, especially because that cake is probably going to go straight to your ass and no man wants that. But Hopefler said that after having heard so many men react to the movie defensively, she felt lucky to have a partner who actively wanted to discuss the impacts of the patriarchy afterwards. You don't have a boyfriend, Hopefler. You have a girlfriend who happens to have a dick. You basically have a trans person, but without the extra steps of being trans, because there ain't no patriarchy. It's not real. He just confirmed many things I always knew, like his empathy and how emotionally intelligent he is, Hopefler said. Hopefler, you know that a dude can, be empathetic and be emotionally intelligent without enjoying a particular movie? I'm pretty sure someone can show their empathy and how emotionally intelligent they are by watching Schindler's List. Isn't it maybe more important to show them Schindler's List instead of Barbie if you truly want to gauge empathy? Because if you show someone Barbie and they don't have an emotional reaction, whatever, it's about a plastic toy. You show someone Schindler's List and they don't have an emotional reaction, you're dating a sociopath. I think it's easy for a woman to understand this movie, but I never expected him to get everything at this level. Sure, you have no faith in your significant other. You are probably a terrible girlfriend. No wonder it says girlfriend or boyfriend and you're 32 and unmarried. I imagine you've not had a lot of luck with men thus far. Now, granted, you're German. I know there are very angry people, so it could be, could go either way in whose fault it is direction, but 32 and unmarried, that's a little sus. Part of the shock, these women say, comes from the assumption that men who are willing to engage in supportive conversation about feminism are hard to come by. Oh gee, I wonder why men nowadays would be very uncomfortable talking about supporting feminism, given how feminism has led to Me Too and multiple false accusations that never actually happened and the ruining of individuals' lives. I wonder if it's because the modern feminist movement is a bunch of man-hating, or individuals want to drag men down instead of being equal to them, which they already are. They want to be above them. There is no such thing as modern feminism, because feminism is defined as being equal in genders, but you want to put yourselves ahead of men in most cases. Your boy here is a true feminist. I believe in equality of the genders. Now, does that mean that a man can do everything a woman can do and a woman can do everything a man can do? No, absolutely not. There are biological differences that are going to make us different. However, when it comes to human rights, yeah, obviously we're equal, but you guys want to change that and you want to put women first. No dude wants this, and no sane woman wants it either, because regular people just want equality, which already exists. Katie Alvarez, 21, of Vancouver, British Columbia. Oh, right, so we get a Canadian here. We went from a German to a Canadian. How is this getting worse? Posted in a viral TikTok video this week that she can't relate to all the women lamenting that her boyfriends didn't understand the movie. Alvarez said her boyfriend suggested and planned the whole outing, including finding a Barbie-themed outfit for himself that specifically matched hers. And good on the boyfriend. Once again, I'm very supportive of boyfriends wanting to do this with your ladies, as long as the ladies want to do it with you and not make it like a girls' night or whatnot. But if they want to do this together as a partnership, that's awesome. I'm all for it. Get dressed up in your pink and dye your hair and make it all these crazy colors and just go out and have a fun time. Then maybe next week go see Oppenheimer dressed totally in 1940s attire, show up looking real good, and maybe after that you commit a car bombing together inspired by him. I don't know. I won't judge. After the movie, she said he listened to and validated the thoughts she shared about navigating the world as a woman. Okay, never mind, you don't have a boyfriend either. A lot of friends had boyfriends who were like, that has nothing to do with me. You're like, I'm not interested in that, so I don't want to go watch it. And that, ladies, is a bad boyfriend. Even if your partner is not interested in it, they should be doing it for you anyway, because it is a nice gesture. Sometimes love is about reciprocating even when you don't necessarily want to. But I'm just going to end up repeating the same thing over and over again if I comment that on every woman who says something so outlandishly dumb, or every man who says something so outlandishly dumb. Equality, people, just you gotta be good partners. It's really not difficult. Alvarez said, a lot of men just see Barbie and are like, no, but I think I'm just surprised to have a man who let me have my opinion and try not to put his own spin on it. That's a red flag for you, Alvarez, because if you go see a movie with somebody, whether it be a friend, a partner, a family member, whatever, and you get out of the movie, you're both going to have opinions on it, and you should have a dialogue and talk about it. One of you may like the movie, one of you may didn't. Maybe you both liked it, but like different things about it, and the conversation should just naturally flow. So you're saying you want to take your boy to see Barbie, you guys have a great time, but after the movie, he's not allowed to have an opinion, or if he has a differing opinion, he's not allowed to talk about it. It's still just a movie. It's still just a piece of art / entertainment for people to dissect and have thoughts on. So you are the one who's having the red flags here, who's showing the red flags, because you don't want your boyfriend to have an opinion on, again, a Barbie movie. Hasna Boudreau, 18, of Dunkirk, France. Really? We're going from Germany to Canada, now to France? They're just throwing all the worst countries in this article. Also, you're 18 years old, honey. You never had a real boyfriend, or never had a real serious relationship. You've never been in love. You're still probably the type of individual that thinks that, the male feminists out there are such great guys. You want to date these male feminists, even though they always, for whatever reason, turn out to be rapists or sexist or child pornography holders or whatever. So I don't even want to hear what Hasna Boudreau, 18, has to say. You don't know what love is yet. You don't know what sacrifice is. You don't know what a real connection is. So how can you possibly have an opinion on how males and boyfriends should be feeling about the Barbie movie and whether it is a litmus test for dating them? Go get yourself some real world experience and stop eating the baguettes. It'll be good for you. She said in a TikTok video that she thinks discussions of Barbie will serve as a new test of compatibility when she goes on future dates with men. If they don't get the point, they're probably not a good match. You're 18. You probably don't even get the point. I think it would be great if men could all watch it, Boudreau said in an interview. I'd like them to understand. It's like taking a new point of view. They get to see how they make women feel. No, it's a movie. It's not real. Raisa Azara, 21, of Jakarta, Indonesia, no joke about this country, shares that sentiment. She found the movie's themes to be personally relatable, and she says she believes it can help audiences who haven't experienced womanhood, such as men or young children, better understand women's perspectives. You guys are aware this is a movie about plastic dolls coming to life, right? Like, again, I haven't seen it, and there might be some good messaging in there. There might also be some terrible messaging in there, but it is still just a movie. When you have things to pick from like Little Women or Barbie, you're putting a whole lot more into this movie that I don't think warrants being put in there. I mean, you don't see dudes going on and on about the life lessons that are in Super Mario Bros., right? After she watched Barbie with her boyfriend, she said he was eager to learn more about how she related to Barbie's experiences. Well, let me tell you, Barbie didn't have experiences. She is a toy.
You are a toy!
I remember him saying that he realized how hard it was to be a woman. I'm sure he did not get that from Barbie. What he wanted, though, was some of that sweet between the legs action, and he knew saying these words would get him that. So, congratulations. He played you, actually, sweetheart, who posted a TikTok video about the movie-going experience with her boyfriend. He's been a walking green flag already, but he told me that after watching the Barbie movie, he acknowledged a lot of things that at first he might not have seen. The dynamic seems to be rare among other couples, she said, based on stories she's heard from friends or seen on social media. Everyone keeps saying that all these men aren't wanting to go see Barbie with their significant others, but here we are on like our fourth example of a boyfriend that was happy to do it, with no named examples of ones that haven't. Just, oh, my friend's boyfriends didn't want to go. Like, should we just take your word for that when you're giving us clear examples of when it does happen? Right now, we're 4 for 4 on boyfriends going, and 0 for 4 on boyfriends not going because there's no examples. If anything, it shows how awesome men are, that they're very willing to go and do this for their significant others. And frankly, I've had plenty of girls go see movies with me that they may not have been interested in, but they wanted to go just because I wanted to go. And I very much loved that about them, that they were willing to get into something that I was interested in. Once again, compatibility, dynamics, setting yourself aside to make the other party happy. It's a very important skill. Because of the movie's direct approach to feminism, Azahara said she believes how men respond to seeing Barbie could be an effective gauge of their respect for women. Maybe there are men who hate the Barbie movie but would still respect their girlfriend to the extent that their girlfriend feels safe and alright with them, she said. But in my personal opinion, it's a pretty good test to see the point of view of your boyfriend towards things. What if your boyfriend is a film major? What if your boyfriend goes to film school and has spent their lives wanting to be a filmmaker, and they point out some very obvious technical flaws with the movie? Is that still a bad thing? Like he's sitting there, he's putting forth the knowledge he's learning when he's paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college, and now he's analyzing the film using those skills, and if it turns out the film is bad, are you gonna break up with him because all the red flags, because he has put what he has learned, his attempt at a career, into analyzing this film? It sounds like you might be the shallow one. For some, seeing Barbie has also acted as a catalyst for breaking up with incompatible partners. Teresa Arzetti, 27, of Dallas, said her ex-boyfriend's reaction in the theater was a wake-up call. Now she's looking for apartments as she prepares to move out next month. I don't know what his reaction was, and maybe it'll get to it, but imagine breaking up with somebody over the Barbie movie. Y'all weren't made for it anyway. You were not going to go the distance, okay? There was certain parts where he was like, oh, are you crying? In dislike and total shock. And it just really upset me, said Arzate, who opened up about her breakup on Twitter. His reaction to Barbie just really took me aback. This isn't the kind of partner I want to have. I mean, maybe that's a red flag, I'm not sure. I would also be very surprised at somebody crying at a Barbie movie, but then again, your boy cries at, like I've said before, Terminator 2, like that's a very sad ending to a movie, so maybe I get it in a sense, but I wouldn't break up with someone over them questioning whether I cried during a movie. That just opens the door to dialogue, to conversation. Imagine that being the hard cutoff point. Like, he asked me a question about crying in a movie about a plastic doll. Time to break up with him. Again, it just seems more telling about your mental state than your boyfriend's. As a former military service member, she said that being a woman in a male-dominated space took a significant mental and emotional toll. It was part of why many of the movie's themes felt validating to her experience. It was just really moving for me, and it really made me sad to feel that I'm doing everything that I can to really step into who I am as a woman, she said, and then I'm having to leave my partner behind. Well, you're not having to leave your partner behind. Don't use those words. You don't have to do it. You are choosing to do it. Not because I want to, but because he just doesn't have the bandwidth to follow me. Because you're so great, because you're so perfect, that just because he has a question about your emotional response to a film, you have to leave him. No, honey. You're clearly a poor communicator, and he may be as well. I'm not defending him, but all I'm saying is you clearly didn't put in the effort to try and make this work if his response to you crying was enough to tip you over the edge and pack your things and get out the apartment, because it's just a Barbie movie. And I know I'm sounding very dismissive of this movie, which is kind of what this article is getting at, but I think the movie itself is probably a very good, very fun, at least very fine film. I do not think it should be being treated like the second coming of movie Christ, though, and that's how the media wants to portray it. I don't think the vast majority of women are like the women in this article. I don't think the vast majority of men are like the men detailed in this article. I think this article is taking extremes and using it as a way to polarize men and women and pit them against each other, as they so often do lately, which is absolutely bananas, because men and women need each other to survive. You know what we don't need? We don't need trans individuals. We don't need gay individuals. All we need to survive as a human species is men and women. Once they no longer get along, the species comes to an end for very obvious biological reasons. Now, obviously, that's also a very far-fetched scenario that would never actually happen, but men and women are being pitted against each other by the media, and it's astounding and makes no sense to me as to why we cannot communicate with one another and why we cannot just try and understand one another and not think that it's all about me. And while I'm sure there are very selfish men out there who are acting like it's all about me, that's definitely what this article did for women. It made them look very selfish and shallow over a movie that's about a toy. All I'm saying is you didn't see any articles talking about how men were breaking up with their girlfriends over the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter, where you can follow me at BoltTheWord. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day, not always about movies, but also anime, video games, Magic the Gathering, you name it. It's all here in the nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.